So, welcome back. This tutorial will focus on 2-look OLL, which means we need, after completing the F2L phase, we need to look at the top layer and first make a cross, and then depending on that cross, we run another algorithm and it gives us all yellow. There'll be another video on how to look ahead and do this, but for the most part, we're focused on turning this yellow in all of our algorithms. Okay, so to begin with, we need to ensure that we have a yellow cross on the top of our cube. If we don't have that, we need to make one. The way we make one is exactly the same as we do in beginner method. We make the L shape, and then we do this, and we do this. Pretty straightforward. Alternatively, what we can do is when we have this, we can do the F move followed by this, and then we can bring down this center layer sideways, do another one, and then undo that wide F, and that will give us that cross that we need. If that didn't make any sense, don't worry, just do it the same as we did in the beginner method. So that is step one of the two-part OLL method that we are going to look at today. Once we have made our cross, we will then have a possible 7 different cases that we can look at and discover to then do one of 7 algorithms to make the top yellow. So without further ado, let's go through them. Okay, so the first case we're going to look at is H. We know this is a H case because we'll have headlights facing out to the left and headlights facing out to the right. If they're up and down, just rotate the top until it's one of 2 ways. Okay, once we've got it orientated like this with the headlights to our left and right, we then perform this algorithm. Okay, so the next case we're going to look at is called Sune, S-U-N-E. We know this is a Sune case when we have 3 of the yellow corners pointing outwards in a clockwise fashion. So each time it will be facing you on the right hand side. What we need to do is position the first corner that is next to it facing you like this, and then we will do this algorithm. The next case we're going to look at is called anti-Sune, which is the complete opposite of Sune. So instead of the corners facing you from the right, they face you from the left, and they're in an anti-clockwise fashion, like so. So we'll put the solved corner down on the bottom right, and then we will do this algorithm. Okay, the next case we're going to look at is known as pi. This is when we have the 2 headlights facing out to the left, and then the opposite ones are like this. So if you think of it a bit like a T, or hey, a piece of pie. Anyway, moving on. When you get this case, you do this. So this case is known as L, when we have these 2 corners facing straight up and these 2 opposite corners facing out like this. Orientate the cube in such a way so that the bottom left corner has the yellow facing you, and then the top right is facing out. Now, what you want to note in that particular algorithm is it has a wide R move. That is when you see a lowercase r written. And that just means with your right hand, take these 2 and lift them up. And then the wide R prime is the same, just going backwards. So this case is known as U. It's when we have 2 headlights facing out. Orientate them so that they are facing you and do this algorithm. So just to show you that again, there was D moves in that, so I'll do it a little bit slower. So it's R2, D, R prime, U2, R, D prime, R prime, U2, R prime. Okay, so the next case we're going to look at is known as T, when we have everything facing up except for these two side corners which are facing out. They're not doing headlights out like it was in the U. They're facing outwards like this. So the algorithm for T is as follows. Okay, so that concludes the tutorial for 2-look OLL. We will be progressing into the 2-look PLL, which solves the rest of the cube. Stay tuned for that, there'll be a link for it, and good luck.